The first thing we're going to look at is how to download a new font for use in a PowerPoint presentation. I'm on a site called Dafont, that's DAFONT.com, and this site has a huge library of fonts that you can use for free. Notice over here it says free for personal use. A lot of these say free for personal use. What that means is that if you're going to use this font for a presentation in a classroom or something that you just share with friends, then it is 100% free. If this is going to be something that you use in a situation where you're going to be paid, maybe it's a video that people are going to pay to watch, or a presentation that you're getting paid separately to give, then what you want to do is look for fonts that say public domain, because that means you don't have to pay the font designer for that license. You are supposed to actually pay for a license for these if you're going to use them for any kind of commercial purposes. But if you're using it for educational purposes, you can use any of these. I'm going to show you just now how to find public domain fonts. I'm going to just go choose this. This breaks down all the different fonts into the different types. So I'm going to just choose handwritten as an example. And then it gives me sort of these search parameters. I'm going to click on more options. Right here, I'm going to choose public domain. And that means that the font can be used by anybody for any purpose. It's a public property. So I'm going to click submit. And that is going to take away any of the fonts that are not allowed for any type of use. That means there's just no restrictions, and it just keeps it really simple. So suppose I want to use this one, this halogen one. I'm going to click download, and what I get on my computer is a zip file. So I am just going to click on that and click show in folder. Now I'm working on a Windows computer right now, so this may be different if you're working on a Mac, but I will go to my downloads folder, and there's the file right there. So I'll click on that. And what I have to do with the zip files, I have to extract the documents. They've been compressed into the zip file. They have to be extracted. So I'm going to click extract all. I'm going to have it just be put right into my downloads folder. I probably should find a better folder to put it in, but this is just going to make this quicker. Okay, so this has two separate files, and I really don't know exactly the difference. Oh, one is open type and one is true type. I don't exactly remember the difference between these, so I'm going to go ahead and install both. I opened it up, I click install, and I'm going to close that, and then I'm just going to go ahead and do the other one. I probably should look up the difference. Okay, it says you want to replace it. I'm going to say yes, because I have a feeling it's open type that I want. Okay, if I want this font to actually appear in my PowerPoint, I have to shut down PowerPoint and reopen it in order to find this in the PowerPoint. So I'm going to do that right now. So I've opened up my PowerPoint and I want to use that new font. So I'm going to click on my title and I'm going to go over here to my fonts. I'm going to choose the new halogen font that should be there now. There it is. Okay. All fonts are slightly different sizes, so in order to make this work, I probably need to make this a little bit smaller, and I need to sort of slide this text box down a little bit, but that's how I would do that. Now, I really don't want to have to manually go through and change it all the way throughout the entire thing, so what I can do in the Windows version of PowerPoint is I can go to my home screen, I can go to replace, and I can choose replace fonts. The font that it was before was called Amatic SC. I can replace that whole thing everywhere that it appears in the PowerPoint with halogen. So I click replace, and you'll see here that it's gone through and changed every instance. Now it is a slightly bigger font, so I'm going to have to still go in and manually sort of tinker with it a little bit. So like here, for example, I need to make that a bit smaller so that it fits nicely, and that's fine. I can do that. And I may have to, make some adjustments just to make it look a little bit nicer, but that saves the time of having to go through and change every single slide. I'm not working with master slides. This is probably the right way of doing these types of things is you would actually set up a style and set up a master slide. I'm not actually using those. I've just created these slides on top so that they can just be altered and edited for you to use, because I know that a lot of people don't work with master slides, and I didn't want to mess with that with these. The other thing that would be very smart to do with a PowerPoint, especially if you're going to be presenting it from a different computer or in a different location than where you created it is to embed the font in the file. What that means is that if you were to save this to a thumb drive or put it in a cloud-based thing that you're going to download onto another computer and present somewhere, other people may not have this particular font installed on their computers. And if they don't, especially if it's one that you downloaded off the internet, then what will happen is you'll open up the PowerPoint on their computer and it's going to look terrible because it will replace that font with something else that it thinks, that it has on that computer. But if you embed the font with the file, that means it puts the font file into the PowerPoint. It's going to make your file size bigger, but it will also allow you to present it exactly the way you designed it. The way you do that is to go to File and go to Options, and then go to Save. And I've already got this checked, embed fonts in the file. I believe that by default it may not be checked, but you want to make sure that that is checked and that you can either choose embed only the characters used in the presentation. If this is your presentation only and you're not going to be making changes to it, you can check that because it'll reduce the file size. But if you want to be able to make edits or have somebody else edit it, then you would choose to embed all characters so that they can use the entire font in whatever way they want to. And then you would just click OK. So that's how you do it with PowerPoint. Google Slides does not allow you to install or embed or anything like that. They just have all of the fonts sort of available because it's online. So let's take a look at how you would add new fonts in Google Slides. So I'm looking at the same thing. I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to go to Fonts. Now that halogen one is probably not available. Google has its own library of pretty much thousands of different fonts. And so the way you would find yours, I've got this list here of fonts that I have added through their library, but you do have to manually add them through the library. So I'm going to go to More Fonts. And then this is where you would go to choose fonts. The ones that I have checked in blue, these are the ones that I have already chosen that are in my current list. And it's really easy to add them at any time. So I will go ahead and look for the handwriting fonts there and choose something else that I like. If I wanted to go ahead and change that other one, I would change it to something else. So I'll just choose this School Bell for right now. Click OK. And that changes it. Again, I probably will have to reduce the size because that one also looks like it's a little bit too big compared to the other one. But that's basically it. As far as I know, Google Slides does not have a way to globally change the font throughout the presentation. You do have to go and manually do that slide by slide, which is kind of a pain, but it is what it is. There is no need to embed it because it is web-based. It's already going to be there. So presenting it from a different computer wouldn't matter because the source of the file is still on the internet and it's going to retain all of those same fonts.